Justin Bieber.
Bieberchella.
Theirs was hilarious.
Who do you think done Coachella best?
3, 2, 1.
This is Feed the Feed, the podcast for brands, marketers and creators who are tired of hearing about 5-year plans while their engagement is tanking today. I'm Leah.
And I'm Chesca.
Every episode we do exactly what it says in the tin. We feed the feed.
We're here to see who's killing it right now and how to actually move at the speed of a scroll.
Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to our
very
first
excited.
podcast. I mean, if you don't live on the internet, if you're under a rock, anything like that, Coachella, it's back around. It's back this year.
I love it.
Every single time I wish, why didn't I go? Why are we not there?
It's probably because tickets are extortionate prices, and to get to America from the UK, it's also extortionate. Unless you've won the lottery recently that you've not told me about.
No, but to come. Soon to come.
Okay. Pray for us.
But first topic, Influencer Olympics title.
A lot of people in the industry have been talking about this term, Influencer Olympics, and I think it's stemming from the fact that we are so saturated with creators going to Coachella, whether it's they've gone to an influencer house, whether they've been gifted the opportunity. Like, there's so many different avenues brands have gone down to support influencers going to events. Remember, we're only seeing the influencer lens, right? And I think this is a big topic that's being discussed at the moment, whether it is purely for just people sitting at home watching Coachella from their phones or on YouTube, choose your medium, or if the experience is still so much fun, because there's been a different sort of wave of people attending that event. And I saw a guy on TikTok, and I believe he did this last year. He'd set up a tent camping site. He's got a general admissions ticket for camping, and he's literally like interior designed the whole thing, and it's created a trend. Like, people are loving it. He bought a suitcase.
No, but I actually saw, again, this is in the depths of TikTok, I saw someone had like a sink. They've managed to, I mean, I don't know.
Did they get their own plumbing as well?
Well, this is what I mean. There was a sink that they were washing their face in next to like what looks like the thing that you're on about. But I think comparison wise, this Influencer Olympics and, like, you know, these A-list celebrities that are going, there's the whole other side of Coachella that
people don't see.
You're not seeing, because I mean, it's almost just, that's all over my TikTok and Instagram and social media. I'm not seeing really any of the other sides of.
Well, yeah, because some insider scoop, my sister actually did go to Coachella a few years ago.
You meant this one I went.
No, she didn't go to this one. When Beyonce was headlining,
right.
And she was camped, and she was like, it's crazy because it's in the middle of the desert, and she was saying that it's dusty, it's like, it's not a glamorous event, like. And when you revert back to the creators' experience, they get like these gorgeous villas, gorgeous houses. They get air-conditioned, like, time off places, VIP and entries, things like that. And it's hard as well because, like you mentioned before, a lot of them are A-list creators or celebrities, whatever you want to call them. But as of recently, micro is driving 15 times more engagement. And it's almost like, why are you not rewarding the smaller creators and building that opportunity?
There's a lot of brands that I personally think are missing out on these smaller micro creators that are almost like on the rise, you know, that trending, we mentioned in Creator Lab all the time, like trending creators. They could be taking a vast range rather than, I'll say it, and it's been said on the internet, you know, the same 5 creators are going to the same houses every year, whether it's Coachella, whether it's other brands. I'd be interested to see how much more engagement. I think that number would actually be higher if it was, they'd brought some different people and they'd almost like expanded their range in an extent, like in a sense of who they're working with. And I mean, one thing that we're seeing a lot here at Campfire with like a lot of the campaigns and brands that we're working with is there is a desire for this creators at scale. You know what I mean? Think about it. You're getting a multitude of creators. That increases your like flood the feed, you know, diversity, like all of these points that I really feel like some of these brands, maybe if we were in the marketing teams over there, that we would be, you know, your engagement could have been a lot higher. I'm so sorry.
Hey, look, we're just giving you the facts. But what I will say is there's still room for those like macro creators, those megas, because dependent on who it is and who you choose, they have such a cult following that they will continually get that engagement. For instance, this year for Coachella, Sophia and Chintzia go, and everyone was gagged waiting for their outfits.
They were teasing it. I'm sorry.
I know they did too much, because all I wanted to see was the outfit.
Yeah.
And it was like, people have been calling it their own Met Gala.
I think
not
it
mine
is.
Personally, not mine.
I think it is for that. I do. It's a large, as a stan, or I wouldn't say fan, but like stan. I think it is 100%.
Yeah. So I think when it comes to sort of influencer strategy and what a brand needs, first of all, they need to think about what their goal is.
Yeah.
Do they want volume? Do they want talkability? Or are they after specific cult following to drive that revenue and engagement? And I know, as we'll continue in this episode, we talk about all the different brands that were at Coachella who have thought about that. But there's definitely room for those like nanos, micros, and those megas and macros.
Yeah. Next year.
Yeah.
It's your year, guys. Shipping it for you.
So for this next section, we are welcoming the lovely Greta, who is the head of marketing at Campfire. Woo!
Sorry.
We're so excited to have our very first guest. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, guys. I'm excited.
So topic of discussion this week is Coachella. How are you feeling about it?
That's all I've been seeing.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, I don't think I've seen anything else. All the conversations online, in the office, friendship groups, like everything has literally been Coachella. So it's definitely like taken over the feed. It's something that you just can't escape.
You can't.
You
And
can't.
you know what else I can't escape?
What?
Justin Bieber. I love that man.
Bieberchella.
Yeah.
I've got Bieber fever.
Yeah.
Again.
I think like, firstly, a Bieber fan, so it's never gone. But I feel like everyone's feeling it now. The Bieber fever.
Is it forced though?
I think the OG fans were always
been
going to
there.
be like standing whatever he did at Coachella. And I mean, the man's made a bag and a half. He made 10 mil just for that performance.
But then also hearing through the little grapevine that he's also made 5 million with his merch. I mean, I would love one of the hoodies personally, but £5 million dollars.
On weekend one as well. So he's got another weekend to sell more merch.
Let's deep dive into the performance then, because like I loved it. I loved
Hailey, hallelujah.
like old school Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Like his whole meme virality, like energy that he
Blew
brought
up.
to the whole set. It's been a very controversial like opinion of whether people should have paid all of that money to go see him, but I think he's actually tapped into what this Gen Z audience want, which is like nostalgia, like looking back at old videos, like funniness. And I think for the people who were there who are true Justin Bieber fans, they loved it because he was going back through everything. But I think it's worth noting, and I don't know if this is like a loophole in copyright or what, but he's recently sold off his old catalogue of his music for like 220 mil? Yeah, million.
If we see him buying a new house, we know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I've been hearing different things. People think it's lazy. People think it's not, maybe they're not the biggest fan of his, whatever. But people are saying he basically just got up on set. He was playing some videos from YouTube. He doesn't really care. Like, it was a very low-key kind of setup. But I'm also like, the deeper depths of the reasoning why, like, I hadn't realized about the copyright and, that kind of bigger, wide, like, loophole. And in my opinion, it gave more value to as a performance. So I almost was just like, oh my God, that's amazing.
I think it's a strategic move as well. So like, he wasn't obviously able, when you look at his performance and when he sings all of his old songs, he doesn't sing all of it.
Yeah.
So he only sings a snippet because that's all he's allowed to do. If he sings any more, then all the copyright laws come in. Wow. So it's become this kind of like loophole, and it's become this whole thing, and he's able to do that. So as you look at his new songs, he sings most of them. He sings all of them. He sings the whole
Kid
song.
Leroy, I love
exactly.
that one.
He brought like Thames in and stuff as well.
I know,
so
that
it's
was
like
incredible.
because he owns that, and all of the money that he makes from the songs is his through his label, whatever.
Royalties.
Exactly. But everything else beforehand, like, he's actually not allowed to sing fully.
I wonder if he forward planned that, because I feel
must
like he can be quite reactive, and so he sold off his catalogue, and then he was like, "Ooh, I'm playing Coachella."
But also, like, but maybe it is, and maybe it was, or maybe he just almost. But you know, there's other people. Not to get a little bit deep, but there's a lot of people saying like he's healed his inner child,
yeah,
and like, and I think you know,
do.
we never know the true TMZ stories with anything, but there might have been a level that almost like he's had a period of time, I would say, in his life where he almost comes across like he wasn't doing the best, whereas like from how he was perceived on stage, he seemed really happy, and maybe he just wants to be rid of, you know, his old stuff, and he's bringing out his new version of himself. And
you're probably right, and I do think that a lot of what he does will be planned out, maybe from his label, maybe from his management, who knows who it is, but we will come to talk about this a bit later on. But the fact that a few days before Coachella, he had some Rhode eye patches on.
Some little
the
mushroom
man knows
stickers.
what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no,
Miss Hailey Bieber.
Miss Hailey Bieber says no, she knows what she's doing.
Oh, her marketing is on point.
Yeah.
Rhode
Like,
knows what
let
they're
me
doing.
just say that.
Everyone, and I think sometimes maybe when you do work in the marketing world, you do look at things from a more granular level, like when things are about pop-ups or, you know, performances, anything like that. But to someone who maybe isn't in marketing, how do you think they would view it with him being up there?
Well, it's interesting that you bring this point up, because there's this common theme that comes out in the marketing world, like online, whether it's LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. I follow those sorts of platforms, and there's this common denominator of people saying, is it for the marketers or is it for the public? Like, did it slap just because LinkedIn said it did, or did it actually perform?
With Bieber's performance, I think it became a cultural moment. It got memed. Everyone is just on it for socials. Everyone is talking about it, whether they like it, whether they hate it, they're still talking about it. It's become a trending moment, and it's something as well that set up the Weekend 2 performance tickets to be resold at 2K.
Yeah, I heard about
Madness.
this. That is madness.
It is. And I think whenever we look at our tool Spark, we can see exactly what's trending. Bieberchella is number one.
Is it?
Sold.
It is.
But that's, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I am not surprised. I mean, every TikTok that I scroll on, it's the
Bieber.
same sound.
Yeah.
Can't remember the sound at the top of my head.
Justin Bieber.
No, it's the one that he's done like a little ad lib. I don't know. Anyway.
Do you want to do that again?
One more
but
time.
But it'll be interesting when we come back in our next episode to see how that's still trending, and after his second performance as well, like where he's up to. But
I know it's probably just going to grow tenfold.
Yeah.
But excited to see all the extra memes we might get next
all
week.
love from
So
our
many
side.
memes.
It's now time to play Trend Roulette with
Spark Spinner. So,
Thank you.
it's literally
Thank you.
one of our favourite parts of the
It is.
podcast. Purely because in a moment you'll see a magical wheel that's all fabulous
excited.
and
Screens.
sparkly. Hopefully, Charlie. That has a couple trending topics on it. I've got it on my phone.
Oh,
At the
Here's the one I
moment.
made earlier.
Here's one I made earlier.
roll.
And I will read out the categories for you, just because it's fun. You've got influencer houses,
Nice.
the art of the outfit,
Ooh.
obsessed with that,
Yeah.
Ooh.
So much to
and
say.
I know.
celeb cameos and post-festival realism.
Ooh,
So
okay,
these-
I've got
Interesting
one.
one.
I've got
Yeah.
one I want to talk about, I think.
Yeah, same. I've got
Ooh.
two.
Okay, right, I'll press the little button. And it's landed on influencer houses.
Woo!
Okay, nice.
So there's a lot to go about
There
here.
is here. I mean,
Too much.
real estate in that area must be through the roof.
So I think it'd be good to start with who we saw. I saw White Fox.
Yeah.
All over my feed, White Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether I liked
White
it or not.
Fox, okay.
Poppy
aside
as
from
well.
Poppy.
Theirs was hilarious.
Yeah. So Jake Shane, he has a podcast called Therapus.
Love
And
it.
he calls his I mean, you can imagine what he probably
don't need to get into that.
Yeah, anyway, so but his kind of hashtag was pass the puss, which one just made me laugh, but two, so the backstory of this, well, there was actually two creators. It was Mickey Gordon. So basically what Poppy's done is they got these two creators that owned separate houses, and they could basically bring their friends to come to Coachella, come to these houses. Everything's stocked with Poppy, as you can imagine. A lot of content behind it.
Well,
I mean,
it's a different strategy when you think about it. It's something we haven't really seen at Coachella before.
No, it is.
So it's nice to see something different. It's nice to not to see the usual influencer houses.
I think it helps with brand identity as well, because it's like Poppy, it's to be shared with your friends and like to have fun. I know, it's so sweet.
It's so cute.
But that's the point, like friendship, like normal people. And I think that's probably what a big part of this brand is. Normal people, it's accessible, it's something that you can do, and it builds a community. That's probably why I think the sales went up by 200%.
That is insane
for Poppy straight after the Coachella weekend. So that just shows the return on investment that they've got.
100%. Because I was gonna say, like, I wonder how, you know, sometimes when you're briefing influencers and things like that, like brand guidelines and things can be quite strict, but actually I think what you just mentioned, that whole community feel, things like it will be so authentic to his friendship group and whoever he brought. I didn't really see exactly like whether there was any of the creators, but in one angle you could think, could the content that he gets maybe go the opposite way of what they were looking for as a brand, or has it just created the moment? And I think it has. We're sat here talking about it, so yes, it has. True.
I think as well, like people want to buy from authentic people as well.
Yeah.
So there's so much, you know, this like really like influencers in the wild type of content, and everything is so produced. I think his audience is very authentic, and they do listen to quite a lot of what he promotes because he does it so naturally. So I think it was a great idea for Poppy to do that.
They got a massive, I don't know if you saw, they got a massive like octopus in the corner of the house.
Did they?
You know, but little details like that
just makes it make sense.
One thing about brand activations is the little details. All creators talk about when we get feedback from our creative events is the attention to detail, how much they loved it. And for this Poppy specific activation, having a group of friends together literally demonstrates what happens when you taste a good product, you use a good product,
and going
you
to
tell
a festival.
all your friends about it.
I think that's the thing as well, like the comparison I think to the UK, or what I heard was like Glastonbury, for example, like when you're going with your friends, I mean, I've not been,
they're not very comparable.
Well,
the music is
the music, maybe not the influencers in the wild, but it's like you're going with your friends and you're going to have a good time, you're doing, you know, that's exactly what it's for. And that was one of my favorites, I think, that I saw, to be honest. Compared, and I will say, you know, compared to the typical houses where it is just, you know, the bathrooms filled with products. And I almost think sometimes with influencers, and I can understand to an extent, they know that why they're expecting it when they turn up, like to these houses sometimes. Whereas the octopus in the corner for Mr. Therapist, he's probably walked in and been like, oh my god, this is amazing. Think how much the houses around those areas also are to rent, and how, you know, and
how hard it is to book them.
So I mean, you know, with Jake Shane like being in his house, I think those small details, I mean small, it was humongous, the size of this octopus, but like he will walk in and probably more, you know, there'll be certain deliverables, let's be real, that he has to hit, and you know, X, Y and Z, but he will walk in and like those small little details, he will take that content that is more organic content than, you know, maybe some other brands with other houses. And
his friends will have done earned content as well. They may not have a humongous following, but by association they'll have some 100%. Sort of following.
I guess it poses the questions to brands, like which, you know, when you're going to do these, it's a massive investment.
Coachella isn't just for the artists, it's for the brands. I think over the last few years it's grown exponentially. Like from 4 years ago to now, social media is blown up. Social activations and actual pop-ups have gotten even bigger in Coachella. So is it for brands? Is it for influencers? Is it for the people at home?
I'm gonna say it's for the people at home.
It is very much for the people at home, I agree. The reason I say that is genuinely because everything is done for social. Everything that is done at Coachella it's in the mind of how can we post this? How can we make it viral? How can we get as many eyes as possible from everyone in the world? Also, this is, I think, the first Coachella that's been sold out.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
but
It's been going for what, 26 years?
exactly.
Wow.
Crazy, I know.
But because it's been sold out, there's so much more coverage within Coachella. So I think that is exactly why we're seeing so much more on socials. So it's definitely more like within the digital world. It's for the digital world.
It's interesting you bring that up, because Coachella, the way brands sort of activate within that space, they have to pay to be part of that activation. So not only is Coachella getting the money from the brands to be there, they're getting free publicity for everything that happens while they're there.
Yep.
That is so intelligent. Like, you've created a strategy not really having to spend that much. Yes, they spend a lot on the artists who headline and like the setup and the logistics of the event, but they don't really need to pay for the marketing. That's done by all the brands.
It is done for them. And I think, like, you know, getting these artists and these big names, I saw like pop-ups from Starbucks, Barbie, Elf,
818.
Oh, 818 was massive. Obviously, Rhode. Yeah.
Fun fact, celebs and influencers only made up 12% of the whole of Coachella.
Really?
However, they made up like 95% of the actual digital coverage. So the ratio is insane. What you see, like the 12% of the A-listers, the influencers, they flooded the feed. Like, you saw Coachella from their point of view. You saw it from the brands that hire the influencers. That's what you saw. You saw all the unboxings. You saw the get ready with me's with like the products that they were promoting. You literally, that is what you saw. But you didn't, the 5% of the actual Coachella experience for the normal person rarely saw that, which is insane.
However, I think I mentioned this earlier on in the episode, but there is a man on TikTok who is creating this sort of identity, this space for himself on TikTok around Coachella, about building up his campsite.
But would you call him an influencer now? Because he's starting to build up that following from what he's doing, and he's now done it for the second year, so that is technically what he's known for.
I would disagree, only because it's created a trend, and you can't be a creator from just creating one trend. Like,
I disagree. I think
hang on, let me land. Let me land. Because creators need something for longevity. One thing can help them go viral. I mean, our girl Farron Clark got the Farron Clark effect. She'd been posting consistently. She knew who her brand identity was, what her identity was online. But a trend can't make someone an influencer. It can catapult them into a platform whereby they're able to monetize off the back of it. But one trend doesn't create a career, and I feel like that is a misconception in the industry, because, and for the wider world who aren't really in the know about creators, they think it's like a one trick pony and you never have to work again. It's hard work. It's hard work.
But then again, I guess, like, there's plenty, like, you know, he's at Coachella, but there's plenty more festivals. And also something that, like, you know, brands could be jumping on while we're talking about all of these big brand activations. Will he get brand endorsements now? Will he get tens?
Salt
Will
Bay?
he get anything? Well, exactly, but
Salt
like,
Bay.
I'd be interested. You know,
but where is he now?
Well, he's got restaurants and he's got everything. But like, let's say that this guy that you're talking about is at Coachella for the next weekend. Why aren't they getting, like, if that was me, I would be like working with a brand, I would be saying, why don't you get him into certain things? Why don't you get him into certain pop-ups and he could be doing content? You never know, but missed opportunities in different ways.
But going back to he's created this trend, other people who are attending Coachella are jumping on the back of it, like just normal people. However, that is an added cost on top of the ticket, and not like, we're in a cost of living crisis. We can't, normal people can't afford to do that. And it kind of goes back to your point about if 95% of it is this certain idea of what it's like to go to that festival versus what the reality of the situation is, it's a very skewed perception. And I would love to see, maybe, I mean, it's probably not going to happen this next weekend that's coming, but potentially next year. We talk about community all the time and brand building and creating that audience for yourselves. I would love for them to reward the general admissions tickets. I would love to see something that meant that normal people got a freebie, a free Rhode lip gloss, a free 818 drink. You know, everyone gets a voucher with their general admissions ticket, which means that they can go grab something or get a freebie. It doesn't have to be one creator getting thousands and thousands of freebies like the 818 pop-up. All these creators, when they had Stanley's, they had a partnership with Rhode, they had all sorts of other brands involved in that activation. But the normal person wasn't getting any of it.
But then a question, is Coachella about, like, Coachella's about music, realistically? You know, a lot of these brands have jumped on the hype with being able to come to these and do these pop-ups, but is that really needed? Like, it's grown.
I don't think it's about music anymore. I think
Yeah,
Coachella
no,
is the biggest marketing tool
It is 100%.
in
agree,
America or in this kind of space.
I do agree. I think it's just, if you take it back to like what it used to be to looking how it is now, it goes back to our very first point. Is it the Influencer Olympics? Is it Brand Olympics? Is it just the Olympics full stop? Like,
I don't know if you have seen, but I've seen a few videos on my TikTok where people will literally go on camera and will say what Coachella is actually like as not an influencer. So this is becoming quite popular, of people just showcasing a normal Coachella experience, and the difference is insane. And they count how much they spend and what they do and how long everything takes, and then you see it as a comparison and you go, it's two completely different worlds, isn't it?
Like, you know, these influencers get picked up from their
I was just
houses,
about to say this.
and then there's like, but I also saw in TikTok, to what you're saying, like there was apparently massive storms where all of the like tents and things, or, you know, these units, if you will, like that they've put up, got blown away. I mean, there's a brand thing there, maybe, you know, there's not the Rhodes of the world and the Poppies, but if there's any tent brands out there that are very good at, you know, sticking in the ground, that's a brilliant opportunity.
Sponsored by Coachella.
So going back to your point earlier about community, like, I wonder whether if brands were to go with, you know, that whole community feel and doing mass giveaways and things like that, would it yield a better return on investment rather than putting, you know, the money into these creators and taking mass influencers, mega influencers?
Well, marketing is a test and learn. We never know 1,150 billion% that is going to go viral or that is going to work. It takes a leap of faith. However, from what we do know, that community, we were talking about it with the Poppy activation, having friends, having a community, having a brand that represents people or looks to help other people that aren't these glamorous top dog, like earning hundreds and thousands. When they give back to a community, that community reward them by talking about them.
Well, to our brands out there, it is food for thought for 2027.
So I've got a question for you guys.
Ooh.
Who do you think done Coachella best?
Shall we say it together?
Okay, hold
3,
my hand,
2,
what
1.
was it?
3, 2, 1.
Rhode.
Of course.
I mean, they had to. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
like,
they spent enough on it.
She also was queen of, what was she, Mrs. Coachella, was everyone calling her as well?
The queen of
Yeah,
Coachella.
Queen
I
of
mean,
Coachella.
she's Miss Bieber. What more does she need?
Yeah, exactly. But a big shiny pop-up, which was wow.
I believe they spent up to $2 million on it.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that is insane. And I think kind of like looking at it from a fun marketing lens, it is really difficult to try and understand why they've spent the £2 million and what the ROI from it can be. And I think for these types of activations, you'll never be able to fully track the actual sales of the product. But a great way to really track it, which I've had a bit of a nosy on, is share of voice and share of search. And in this first weekend, Rhode's search increase was 250%.
Wow.
So it took them,
God.
Coachella was over 2-3 days.
Jeez.
The activation lasted for 2-3 days. And the share increase was 250%.
And that's one weekend.
But also, if you think about it, okay, prior to this, they launched the Bieber collection how many days before it? The little mushroom pimple spots.
I was
They were
so
called something-
obsessed with that.
I can't remember what they're actually called. Sorry.
It's
Hayley.
called spotwear. She
it?
created a whole
Sorry,
new
sorry,
like
sorry.
category.
But like, that was, you know, however many days before. There was billboards on the way to Coachella. people were using it as like an accessory. I saw a lot of videos again, you know, as we were saying, like all these influencers putting them on their boyfriend, because like it was on Justin, so then they're putting on the boyfriend. The pop-up itself then had like the mushroom balloon pops with the spot stickers and the jelly bags.
I think she really tapped into a cultural moment there.
She did.
Because people who have had boyfriends in the past or currently have a boyfriend, the boys love a face mask, love to be pampered. They would never tell the boys group chat that they're having a face mask time with their girlfriend, but they love it. And the fact that she got her husband, the man headlining the event, to wear these spot patches and eye patches for almost like a tease pre-Coachella, like marketing genius. Like, I love it.
Marketing to a new level. He should have worn them on stage.
I know. But what I'm surprised I didn't see is people wearing them like accessories, because we all know how much people love dressing up.
That's what I saw. Like, literally saw people as they were heading to the Bieber like the Bieber headline, they were like putting them on their boyfriend to go to the show.
Oh,
like everyone's
right.
like wearing them as accessories. Obviously, yes, they were great, and I've seen a lot of feedback online as well, as you're saying about like her products and how amazing they are, but people are wearing them almost as like a trend as well, and it's become a trending thing to also bring your partner. So rather than just one person wearing it, you've also then got two, and like
they've opened up a whole new demographic,
a whole new kettle of fish.
I think really looking at the way that she's done it and all of the pre-Coachella prep, I think that's what really helped bring that whole search increase up.
100%.
You know, it is not just the activation of the event itself, it's everything that you do beforehand, is what you do after it as well. You've got a week between weekend 1 and 2, so obviously there's lots of stuff that you need to be doing there to make sure that weekend 2 is as successful as weekend 1.
And you can take learnings from weekend 1. I mean, they won't make huge changes because they've paid a certain amount of money to do a certain activation, but if there was something that wasn't working on the day, the crowd control was really bad, they heard feedback online, live feedback online about the event, they can go and change it. If it's small things,
they also might surprise us, and they might do something completely like pivot it completely. But I just think it's such an interesting, you know, on the topic again of like marketing, like I think Justin should have worn them on stage personally. But do you remember Rihanna back in the Super Bowl? I think it was 2023, you know, when she was wearing red and like everyone was like dressed like a marshmallow. Icon. But the first second that she came on stage, like she used her Fenty blush. And it's like small little drops of, you know.
It's considered.
Yeah.
With that though, the Fenty product sold out.
Mad.
Like,
but I'm not surprised.
No,
not at all. Not
but it's
at
a
all.
great way.
It's great for anyone who's not used to it. It's great.
And I think as well for Rhode, like when we were saying, you know, like the influencers in the wild and everything like this, but like the amount of content that has been online, even anyone that is at Coachella and could potentially get into that pop-up and, you know, maybe didn't go the first time around, guarantee they will be there this time around when they see everything that they were getting, like the product bags, those jelly bags, and they had like the cold mists, like for the heat, and it wasn't just the spot stickers, it was everything.
Oh yeah,
they've built FOMO.
100%.
Like they've just built FOMO.
Yeah. Can we have some PR please here?
We'll take it.
Please.
Contact us.
Well, thank you so much, Greta, for being our very first guest.
You've been amazing.
Thank you for having me,
will
guys.
You come back?
Oh, if you invite me back,
Woo!
I've got so much more to say.
Amazing.
And thank you guys for listening.
We hope you loved it.
And we will see you next time.
Bye.